Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm Lucretia from Burning Up the Roads and Prepping, if you don't know who I am. And today I missed I believe I missed my premiere of a very important video to me. Um, I'm, I, I, I'm trying to figure out if that's what happened. It was set as a premiere, and I'm not sure if it went off as a premiere. And I part of this conversation. Hello, Kaylee. So did you happen to see, first of all, hello, Kaylee. So glad you're here, dear. And hubby Richard, thank you for turning on your phone. Paula, thank you for showing up. By the way, did you see the premiere? I have a feeling something happened. I set it as a premiere, not sure that it showed up as a premiere because I never saw a premiere. And that really is frustrating to me because the whole point, I could sit here all day and talk about it, but I was hoping to set up the whole issue of what was going on. Anyways, I ran across a channel. I'm going to put it up here on the screen. I never got any notifications. I don't know. I don't understand what happened there. I had it set as a premiere. It's 7 minutes. It wasn't a long premiere, but it was actually important premiere. So that's life, I guess. That's just how things happen. I will encourage you to go back and watch. I'm going to link it at the end of this. Just one moment, please. Sorry. And so I am highly stressed about that. Richard, So I'm going to put up on the screen a channel that I ran across about a week ago. And by the way, before I do that, this video, I've done videos. I've been doing videos for 3 years. I know a little bit about editing. I think editing I've never fell in love with. I like it when I'm doing it. When it's going smoothly, it's fun. It's that creative side that I actually don't believe I have, but I can be a little creative. And if you could share this out, anybody who's here could share this out on your social media, I would greatly appreciate it because something kind of went wrong in my process. So I worked probably solid 20 hours on this video, and there was no reason for it. There was one little thing I needed in there, and I kept doing it wrong repeatedly. I don't know if anybody else has had that happen where you do a technical thing over and over incorrectly, and that's wrong. I'm making a mistake. And I asked my son-in-law, I said, how many times have you ever done the same thing over and over again wrong before you finally figured it out? And so, yeah, this would have been out a few days back, and maybe then, but it's been plagued is all I can say. I'm saying it has been plagued. So I found a channel called Pure Living for Life. They're about 500,000 subscribers. They're an off-grid couple with a child or two now. And Ryan and Alyssa, and I will tell you, they are fabulous channel. I'm going to link it up here for a moment. I'm going to kind of go through this one video. If you wouldn't mind hanging out for just a few minutes, it's well worth it. Okay, I promise you, it's well worth watching. Is it that one? Let me see. Nope, that's me. That's my desktop. Ruh-roh. All right, come back up here. Stop sharing. I'm going to shut that down. Tracy Kroll, thank you so much. My journey to health. I appreciate you coming by. I am attempting to connect up with something that I feel would be useful. Did you, by the way, Tracy, see the premiere? I would be really interested in that. Well, the reason I'm not finding it is because I had to close it for a moment. I'm going to find that video real fast here. Pure Living for Life is the name. They've been psychologically tortured for 5 years. It's been an entire nightmare for these people. When I say psychologically tortured, really, it's been a horrible experience for them. And if I have linked these videos I've linked their channel at the end of the down below here in the about. Hold on, nope, don't talk, no talking. All right. Pop back over here. See anybody else is in. No, I never even got notifications. OMG. I am so PO'd badly because that was the whole reason I did a live stream. But we'll try to work with what we have. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull their video up. I'm going to roll through just a few things that'll give you an idea of what they've been going through. I don't know. I would have went away a lot sooner than they did. All right, here they are. I'm going to go through some of the stuff.
Some home, our dream home.
So here they are. Ryan and Alyssa, off-grid living.
Over the past 5 years, our family has been under attack. We want to tell our story in hopes of raising awareness about cyberbullying and how it affects the creators that we watch every single day on different platforms.
Our hope is that we can reach out to other creators that are dealing with this right now and let them know that they are not alone. We also want to encourage other creators to use their platform to start talking about this subject in hopes it can gain some momentum and maybe create change.
Telling our story is going to require several videos. Unfortunately, one just isn't going to do it. We do want parents to know that even though this is a real subject, due to the subject nature, it may not be appropriate for some younger.
Okay, I'm going to go through
own private group using a story like we're fake, we don't live in our own house.
Our child died, we died.
Can you believe somebody that she was pregnant at the time, that somebody would go out there and say her child died or that one of them died?
We sold our property.
With a little Google research, I was able to find their place is now for sale.
There was a rumor that they didn't even live at their house. There was a rumor that they were living at a house that they bought.
Those types of things. For as many people.
Their address was doxed. We'll talk a little bit about those things.
They were recruiting people to trespass our property, threaten and stalk our family, threaten our business associates and our channel partners, impersonating our channel partners, threatening our partners, harassing our neighbors, impersonating family members, and other personal connections that they could identify online. Very hard to conceal their identity. In a bit of irony, they're also very suspicious of other people.
Because they are another thing they did.
Let's have a greater reach. For example, you can like this video. That should help the video reach more people. You can also take a moment and share this video. If you're part of a group, maybe on social media, or maybe you have friends who you feel like would benefit from seeing this. So an idiom in having a debate, which is healthy, and that is to attack the subject, not the person.
Speaking a little bit more to creators, First of all, if you're dealing with this or you have dealt with it in the past and you need someone to talk to, you're very welcome to send us a message. At a minimum, we can at least listen and we understand. And second, if you have a channel of your own, no matter how big or small, again, we challenge you to make a video about this subject this month. And if your own, no matter how big or small, again, we challenge you to make a video about this subject this month. And if you have been through cyberbullying or been a victim yourself, we really encourage you to share your story because we feel like that is liberating and it's a story that needs to be told. We have been talking about ways we can create a bigger change, and it's not entirely obvious. We have a few ideas. One of them is we would love to create some type of resource page for people who are dealing with these problems. Some of the things that we would like to include on that page is, first of all, finding legal assistance for people to understand this on a very deep level.
It's difficult
It's
to understand.
extremely challenging, but the wrong person will be very happy to waste your time and take your money. Another would be mental health professionals that understand what comes with cyberbullying and the isolation of it all. We would also love to hear of other people's stories, what has happened to them, how they uncovered.
So if you have been cyberbullied, and they also in their second video talk about using the terminology non-physical torture. Non-physical torture. And I looked into that. So I'm going to have their link. Their link is obviously going to be down below. So some of the things, let me see, Roy and Becky's Travels. Hello, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Boondocking with Boomer, thank you for coming in. Did anybody get notification for my premiere? Because I couldn't find it myself. So my assumption is other people couldn't find it either. And I know Paula didn't get it. Tracy didn't get it. So this topic is a very serious topic. These people, I'm kind of telling their story, but if you have been cyberbullied, just say, hey, psychological abuse, Linda. Yes, absolutely, psychological abuse. So you got notified. For the premiere of the video, because the video that was before this, the video was supposed to start up as a premiere at 3 o'clock. I don't believe that happened. And I set it up as a premiere. And then I kind of was chasing it, trying to find it. I never did find it. But I made it so I'm aware of what it says. So these people were tortured eventually, psychologically tortured. We had this on notify, but that doesn't mean much. Yeah, no, that's true. I know that. Oh boy, do I know that. I just found out I was not subscribed to Pure Living for Life when I've subscribed to them when I found their channel and fell in love with what they're actually doing there, building for themselves. Well, this is like if you were in a relationship and you get all different kinds of abuse. Yes. Psychological bullying and psychological mental torture. There is even, and if I could pull it up as I'm talking to you, they even had these people, I'm going to turn off the sound to them right now as I play this video for myself to kind of watch while I'm talking to you. They even did cartoon characters of them, very sexualized, look just like them, and in their hot tub. As they said, it was just they know everything about where these people's lives. They were not safe at any level. They would involve other YouTube creators that lived in the area to just drive by and take pictures, check out if they had, if they were even living there. They would infringe on. Oh, here is a. Let me go back here. share screen. All right, so I'm going to roll this back. And what I'm going to do is be picking out certain. Oh, here was a time when they had somebody was taking pictures of them driving by. This person literally drove into their property, go around the gate, completely subjugating the barrier that they were trying to put between them and the public. It was very frightening. And let's see.
They were doing everything within their power to make our address public. We have nothing to hide.
Oh, yeah. They even printed a book. They even made a 200 and some page book that was available online that went back on these people's lives. They had pictures of Jesse in high school. They had what they did in sports. The obsession became complete and total with Jesse and Alyssa. It was terrifying when
But what they were posting was totally irrelevant to the channel. They were trying to discredit us and generate hate about us, at first using their fake personas. Like any normal people, we actually believe this was an angry.
So I'll tell you what they've come to believe after a lot of research.
Is the psychopath. This
It's one psychopath. One person with multiple personality disorder, likely, it sounded like. Oh, here's one of the cartoons.
Confused. Don't worry, stick with us. We're going to lay it all out.
So shortly after the birth of these off-site hate groups was the birth of these cartoon renderings about us and malicious satire. Someone came to the group leader, the psychopath, and said, hey, look what I created. I created something amazing. You need to check it out. And the psychopath would say, oh, wow, who is this amazing person that is dedicating their time to benefit us all and expose these people? Thank you. Wow. And I think create this stuff or how long it would take. But I think we could all agree a lot of thought and time was put into these. And where it gets really crazy is as soon as a new video was published on a brand spanking new channel, mind you, with no subscribers, the same thing that happened in the comments of those videos
person have all
was
this
happening
information
on our
about
videos.
inside their
Within
house.
minutes, they would get flooded with comments from the same usernames that we banned in the very same argumentative style. Every once in a while, a real person would chime in. Past jobs, business associates.
Oh yeah, this
past jobs,
everything.
Business
Look
associates,
at that.
channel partners, relationships, court records, activity under every old.
So the point is that these people were stalked to the point of even with 500,000 subscribers, they needed to leave YouTube.
To harm and harass my family. There are creators who were foolish enough to disclose their premeditated involvement in this activity, which gave us a clue of their intentions. And that, ironically, made it easier to identify some of the people who were involved in this stuff. A lot of people jumped on this bandwagon.
They did
it became a
engage
thing
local people
to drive by our house and take pictures and post it to the internet. As you can see, the no-touch torture is working perfectly. They have created a network of local people who are willing to drive by constantly, while this psychopath sits quietly and safely in their home.
We were literally in fear of going outside. We were afraid of doing anything that could be visible to some of these looky-loos, only to find out that they had malicious intent later and were indeed part of these groups.
Okay, so I think you get the message. These people created a dynamic around the lives of Jesse and Alyssa that was phenomenal, and they had nowhere to go. They couldn't look outside their window. They would have people coming and leaving gifts. There was wine left at their gate. They were getting gifts at their door, even though they had an assigned address in town where they would take, if somebody wanted to send them something, they would, but it was gone. That they were sending them directly to their house. And considering they were getting ready to have a baby, they were very concerned about that. And they did not. So as it turns out, as I said, it appears that in this particular case, that's true. So they were using FOIA. FOIA is the ability for us to get information about something, usually a public thing. Okay, they were using FOIA to get connected to whether or not the plans, building permits. They were trying to get them shut down. Their building shut down. They knew that the police had come out on several occasions, especially if Jesse and Alyssa had seen that there were people driving by or they were slated to drive by. They would get a hold of the police. The police would come out, and the Freedom of Information Act. And they were able to get the camera footage of what took place at the door between the police officers and Jesse and Alyssa. That's how deep the sickness went. When they say psychopath, they believe in this case, and also they believe that this particular person has, I'll explain this in a moment. So that this person is a true psychopath with multiple personality disorder. I don't know if they are. I don't know that Jesse and Alyssa, if you go and you watch their 2 videos, you will get a better idea. I'm not going to play their videos in entirety for many reasons, but they wanted to know where they were at all times. Jesse was able to buy a plane. Apparently he had sold a house before they did this, and he was able to buy a small plane. And they were able to track their plane, kind of like that high school kid is able to track Elon Musk. Well, apparently these people were as important as Elon Musk to this sociopath. So it wasn't just them that the sociopath was attacking. Apparently and I go over this in my video. Please go back and watch my video. It will make this more sensical. But they were, my brain just kind of went on a rabbit trail. I was talking about the plane, and they were able to track the plane. One person, and they believe this person had thousands of personas, including with screen names and channels. But the channels, as you know, inevitably, they never have any friends. They have no videos. They're a blank slate. And they would notice that the moment that anything on a video went up, that multiple people, like dozens to hundreds of people instantaneously were posting things. And they started tracking that. And Alyssa was able to identify through other platforms that this is likely one person. And that's how twisted and fearful it actually, that's more fearful in some ways than, you know that 100 people don't like you. Well, one person is pretending to be 1,000 people, and you're that important to them that they track your airplane. They know when your pizza comes. They know what you say to the police officer at the door when the police officer comes. They were trying to find out when the birth happened. They were looking at birth. They were looking at hospital records. They were checking. So it's important to know that these people like this, and this may not likely be the only one out there. And I'll explain what happened with the police. And this would pertain to any small town. So the police in that little small town, it's in northern Idaho. They talk about it's northern Idaho near the Canadian border, and they believe it's Canadian. They believe that it's Canadian, and I'm not sure why they believe it's Canadian, but they do believe that it is a Canadian. And these are some pretty smart people. I mean, they have worked with this for 5 years, so I would sway to believe what they are saying is probably true. The local police were that helpful. They just, first of all, a tiny town like where they're at has got a very small police force. Nothing against that. I wish I were living in the area they're living in, actually. And however, they have limited knowledge of cyber warfare. And that's kind of what happened. And I believe how I laid it out, I need to look at this, identifying the elements of this particular attack happened to them. They believe the same person went after Jared Crocker. Yep. So several people did videos about this, and it's had shared some of their experience. Jared Crocker was one of them. Carolyn's RV Life. So Carolyn, I don't remember that it was this person and this group. See, this person then engaged real people. So this is not like a someone without any working brain cells. This person has a lot of working brain cells. And so they would engage populations of people to do their dirty work for them. So anyways, Carolyn's RV Life, she did a video as well, and she talked about this whole issue of cyberbullying, cyber stalking, doxing, threats to life, threats to her life. I know that the FBI did get involved, and I believe someone is in jail over what happened with her. Physically stalking, like out in the community, stalking online, trespassing these people's property. So I've been really and then psychological torture and manipulating other innocent people. So there were innocent people that they used in order to do this stuff. Was Line Screw. Yeah, he spent some time in prison over it, started it up again. Don't know if it's the same person. Camera footage from the couple's property cameras that filmed the trespasser could be, yes, if it's Canadian, maybe border crossing records could help. True, yes. So they've had trouble with getting this taken seriously. It's like, well, you're a public figure. And one of the things they say is, this is their words, not mine. And since they are a massively large channel, I mean, I consider 500,000 people to be massively large. I would consider 2,000 people. I'm a 1452 right now. And Nomad Hatters, hello. That's my nephew-in-law's wife. My nephew-in-law, my niece-in-law. That's who it is. I think that's Peggy. If not, it's my nephew. And so thank you guys for coming by. So the elements involved in this are not taken seriously by police. So what I was going to say is what they said, and this is almost a quote, maybe not quite, but they have the same problems that Hollywood stars have without the same deep pockets that they have in order to protect themselves. I believe that's true with someone like this, who have this size of channel. Now, if I was going to be coming through their community, I might send them an email and say, hey, I would really like to see your house. I think you did a beautiful job. I like what you're doing with that garden that they've put in. I mean, I would say, would it be possible to stop by? I don't think I would go to their house, go to their gate, their locked gate, walk around it, go up, take pictures. I mean, it's insanity. I remember the name. It was after another channel too. So, so Jared Crocker, these people, and Carolyn's RV Life are the ones that I cited and that I put in the links below. And I'm hoping that, it's my hope that other people, I know that these are topics that most, especially in the travel community, you know, van life people, lots of travel related channels get some bullying or get some, you know, crap on their channel. Everybody gets that, you know, negative comments. That is not what this is. I hope that you could see that that is not the case with this. This is a whole different level. It disrupted every vein of their life. They had to leave the channel, you know, leave and lose out. They lost out financially, huge financially. And they were looking over their shoulder every day of their life, and with good reason. When you're talking, when you see that somebody is talking about your baby has died, I was a helicopter mom. I am still a helicopter mom, and my son is 32. Okay, not as bad as I used to be, but it's in my nature. And so the psychopathology involved in this kind of situation could happen to anybody, and they made that point. It doesn't matter the size of the channel. If this person takes a disliking to somebody, or it seems like also as this channel grew maybe, and that this person saw them get a plane, they didn't like it that they were making money off YouTube. Well, it's designed ideally I say, to make a little bit of money. And if you can, why would you not? No, don't pay me. Keep your money. You know, I mean, seriously, guys, that's ridiculous. But it seemed like there was jealousy involved, especially as Jesse got the plane. But it was pointed out that he had sold a piece of property beforehand. And so they were going to use whatever excuse they needed to use in order to create havoc in their lives. So what are some of the things, you know, let's see. What are some of the other, what are some things that you, if you noticed a pattern like what these people noticed was going on? You know, we've got a couple creators on here, I think. Even Kaylee, anybody, what would you do if you noticed somebody stalking out your channel in the manner that was happening on here? I'm real curious how you would handle it, because that's one of the keys. And I like that they want to come up with a kind of a resource page. Know the law. I'm going to bring up something else here. I was looking up laws on non-physical torture and the on torture in and of itself. I'm just going to read a little something here. And this is from the definition of torture in international law. Torture means the intentional infliction of severe pain or suffering, whether physical or mental, upon a person, and they talk about it here, in the custody, the control of the accused. Okay? So you're kind of, when we're in this relationship, you're over there on that side of the camera, I'm over here on this side, I'm talking to you, I'm telling a story, or you're watching a video. I don't really, you know, we don't really know who the people are that are, I mean, I know who's there right now, but if there's 50 people there that say stuff, you don't really know who they are, and you don't. And so we're kind of in the custody, if you will, because we put out videos, we do live streams, and those stay out there. we're in the custody, in a way, of other people. If you go back and watch my video, and it was 7 minutes, guys. I edited the crap out of that thing. We're in the custody of other people. And so that's why that kind of makes sense to me. It doesn't have to be, but it does. Except that torture shall not include pain or suffering arising only from inherent or incidental to lawful sanctions. So let's say you're in, what I interpret that as, let's say I'm in prison. Don't even want to think of that, but I'm in prison and I smart off to the guards repeatedly, which is a possibility. If I'm in prison, I'm probably going to be pretty unhappy. And I get threatened with going to the hole. And I like one more time say, you. I'm dragged off to the hole. Well, that's meant to be, a form of torture, in my opinion. Not making an opinion on it. I'm just saying I believe that's intended as a form of torture, psychological torture, because you're separated from other people. You're very much in a more confined situation. That's what I think you're talking about, inherent or incidental to lawful sanctions. Let's see if there was anything else here I wanted to share. People talk about, when they're trying to define psychological torture, no-touch torture, it's like a judge, one of the Supreme Court justices, when there was a case about nudity. But there's another word, pornography. Excuse me. It was about pornography, and kind of where it crosses the line, and it's the same here. It's like, you know it when you see it. Okay, you know what nudity is, and you know what pornography is. Sometimes you can't put it into words, but you know it when you see it. And I believe it is the same here with no-touch torture. You know it when you see it. When people are indicating that you or your child was killed, they're sending people to stalk your house. I believe that is easily identified as a no-touch torture. I'm going to go through this last video and see if there was anything, really good that I felt like I wanted to share with you. No, I think I have already shown that. I'm just scrolling real quick here. They're just encouraging people to get involved. Encouraging people to get involved and to be involved, to make sure that if you're on another channel, let's say, start with our own channel. So if I'm on my channel, oh, by the way, remember, if you're a creator, what happens in the chat, or excuse me, in the messages afterwards, you're fully responsible for it. And so they had gotten thrown off because they were working really hard building this cabin, and they weren't paying. They were creating and putting it out there. They weren't paying attention to what was being said in the chat. And as it turns out, they got a lesson in, you're responsible for what is said and done in your chat. Roy, what's this? Now, our sticks and bricks, we had a camera pointed at the driveway due to unknown people parking at end of driveway. Makes sense to me. My nephew and his wife, they manage a 200-acre horse and cattle ranch. And to get up to their house, or up to where they live, the driveway's 1.5 miles long. And they know there's one person who lives right kind of on that road. It has an easement to get to their house. but they know when people shouldn't, there should be nobody opening their two gates. And I've encouraged them, when they can, to get a camera and be watching that, because apparently someone was rummaging through their barn a couple of nights ago, and to, especially if you're isolated, these people are isolated. They do have cameras all over the place, and they do have pictures of people. I don't know how illegal it is to have gone around that gate. It has they're one of the people driving around taking pictures of them, and I think might have been the person who went around the gate, was the minister, a local minister, who got involved in this because of who knows why. We have a camera on our front door. We have one on our side gate here at our Sticks and Bricks as well. And let's see. I alert neighbors to what's happening and ask them to notify me. So neighbors do know now. Neighbors do know now, and they harass neighbors as well. Who wants? So if we had someone come into this house every day saying, "What do you know about Bob and Jane who live right down the street here? Do they even live there? Would you tell us if they come and go when they come and go?" I mean, can you imagine the crap that these people lived with? Okay, so back to the elements of the so has anybody here, where'd it go? All right. So if any of you felt you were being stalked, cyber stalked or stalked because you're a YouTube creator, have you been bullied online? YouTube bullying. I know that everybody generally gets some weird or negative comments. I remember Camper Van Kevin getting a comment about, I'm going to put the video. Let's see, I'm going to pull that up here. I'm looking at my thumbnail for my video. That was a premiere, and it's got all of these different pieces that I'm trying to talk about. So stalking, trespassing. When you're out in the field, like right now, Roy and Becky, you live in your RV in the world, okay? We all understand there's a manners about how you approach an RV. I have heard nightmare stories about someone, it was Robin from Creativity RV, had to be escorted out of a campsite at like around 2:00 in the morning. It was in a video about a month ago or 6 weeks ago, something like that, because somebody had came, they were shooting off guns. It was just in the middle of the night, someone drove right up on her RV and pointed headlights. I mean, it was crazy. And I would assume there's a problem if somebody did that to me. Here's something that I believe is a really good idea. The next time we're traveling, I'm going to this was already recommended. I've had this recommended. No trespassing signs, CCTV from every angle. Yeah, obviously that's a good thing to do. My gates are locked, so are my doors. That's another thing that can make your case fall flat. Entry barriers not locked, even open windows. Fair. Nope, but true. Yes, Rob. Yep. So, yes. So you saw that, or that just blew me away. I will tell you, that would be very scary. It's not even like who's firing or where they're exactly at. She couldn't, because the police would have taken them out. Not like killed them. They would have removed them. It is, and it's a really frightening world at times. I know. I only got, since law was not my major was public policy, Kaylee. But in master's graduate school, I was able to take a certain number of classes every term from any master's program that would allow me as a non-major to take it. And so I started with constitutional law, which I love. And I will tell you something. Had I been a younger person starting out, even in my 40s, I likely would have become a constitutional lawyer. I love the whole I love the Constitution. I love maybe things I don't understand about it, but I love the groundwork. So our local law told us to do what we only front load access. So we did that. So what I have, so here at my Sticks and Bricks, I have projectile protection. That's my very own. And I have another one on order that's even bigger. Yes. I want to make sure I'm safe. And I will not be caught off guard. I just will not be caught off guard. And I understand why many people don't want to use a projectile tool. However, I mean, I wish I didn't feel the need to, but I do feel the need to at least have one available to me and follow all the laws, all the rules. When there's children in the house, it's definitely put away, cannot be accessed by them. And I believe that if you have one, you're accountable for what happens with it. And so that's, I'm handling it as though my future depended on it. But yes, I'm excited because my new one will be here within the next couple of weeks. Oregon, and this could apply to, people like this. So what I've done stupidly, and Kaylee, you'll probably raise your hand and wave a flag. From the very beginning, I was very open about where I lived. I was very naive. I have driven to and from my house, right up to my garage, where my address is, dozens of times. And that was really foolish. My grade school that I've named in many, many videos is because I love this neighborhood. See, this is a nice neighborhood, very quiet, calm. I live in a little suburb of Eugene, right on the north outskirts of Eugene. I live 1 block from the same grade school I went to. So I'm open. I talk about being a recovering alcoholic. I talk about, I think I've told probably more stories than I should have. And I actually had a very well-known YouTuber privately contact me after my first video and say, you gave him too much information about yourself. And he was being protective. And it was very cool of this person, but I explained back to him that I want to be able to use my life as a way to potentially help another person. For instance, when I was in school, when I was in college, I was 50 years old when I started. I think I was 49. I graduated when I was just over 50 or 51. And I know it's way late in life to go to college, but it's the way it was. And so I shared my story with these, it was kids, okay? I'm like the grandma in the class. And literally grandma aged to many of them. And I still remember the live stream, you held up an envelope. I know. Please don't remind me. Brent yelled, Mom, your face was priceless. I still laugh about it. It was my P.O. box. It didn't worry me much. I know, Kaylee. I learned something from that. Really, I did. Because we have to be careful. There are other YouTubers that even if they do, we have a right to just we have a right to disclose whatever information we feel we're willing to live with the consequences of, and not to do that to other people. Okay, and that was a big reminder to me to really pay attention. It was hilarious. Well, it might have been hilarious, but the day we came home from Quartzsite and we literally pulled into our driveway, as we were coming down our street, I didn't understand why George was yelling, turn the camera the other way, turn the camera the other way. He didn't want to have people see the street I was turning onto. But I have done that, like I said, dozens and dozens of times. So cyberbullying, cyber stalking, being overly interested in someone's life outside of what is shared on YouTube. It's some of our life where like I said, I'm very open. I don't know about myself anything good, bad, and ugly that I have not shared. And I'm just quickly thinking back. And so there are other people who it's not like that. And they have a right to not have to share that and not have those things known. So anyways, the doxing of people's information. I didn't really realize what doxing meant until this. Hi, Charlie Grace. Thank you for coming by. There was a video that should have went out prior to this chat, that should have went out as a premiere, and I don't think that it did. I'm not sure what happened. I'm very confused about it. I'm going to look back at it, but I hope that all of you, those of you that are here, if you would kindly go back and watch that video, because I really worked hard on it and it has more information in it. So anyways, where was I at? Doxing. I was at doxing. So, oh yes, new words, doxing. So what I now understand to know, doxing is if, I can show my address all I want in my stupidity and ignorance. I don't have a right to show yours. And by the way, there's even people, when you're camping with them, as it turns out, really don't want, there may be a man or a woman, woman or a man who's run away from a bad relationship. They don't want their face on YouTube for the world to see. And so they don't want their face out there. So when I'm back with other campers again, someday soon, hopefully June, I will be super conscientious of that kind of thing, because the last thing I want is to expose somebody who doesn't want to be exposed. You're not stupid, just don't know. If good community, so yeah, it feels it until we find out, that somebody has gone astray or is not who they say they are. I mean, I think the community that I have found here, so I'm very comfortable in the community of YouTubers, of creators within the travel community. Very comfortable. I feel like I know exactly who Charlie Grace is. I know Roy and Becky are. I know who let me go back up here. Let's see. Nomad Hatters. I know them well. Tracy Kroll. I don't know if she's still here, but I know I trust who Tracy Kroll is. And that's a great point right there. Wow, using their own laws to be a stalker and wreck lives. Absolutely. Paula, I believe I know who y'all are. and I feel safe. That doesn't mean that I am safe, because somebody can be watching and you don't know they're there. Somebody can be watching and you don't know they're there. And so I learned that by a few live streams that went down repeatedly when there was a conflict between two people, and it clearly was one person taking out another person's live stream. So it's important to pay attention to those things, to know how much information should I give and how much is probably too much and is not necessary. So that's what that is about. And then I want to make sure, let me see here. And it caught me, the psychological no-touch torture. I know that's could be a triggering word. Yes, we had a nice time with you guys. I cried the day we left. I know. I was afraid I wasn't coming right back, and I haven't been able to get right back, but we will be back, and we'll be better, and hopefully, it'll be with I don't know if we're going to have a bumper pull or we're going to pull a car, but I will never come again with just my RV. I learned my lesson. It's a house, If I want to treat it as my home, I'll leave it alone and drive a car. I can't believe Quartzsite during its high season does not have anybody who comes in with a small amount of car rentals. To me, that makes sense. You've got people who might be, oh boy, that was terrifying. Lesson learned. It sounded like a bomb. And I remember, I believe Roy's hat flew off and over the top of their RV. And so learning lessons, this whole thing, being a creator on YouTube means a whole bunch of different things to me. I'm surprised every day when I look at my channel and, the last year I've had more limited output, if you will, but I'm still growing. And you know what? I'm really happy. The way I'm growing is slow, but I'm going to try and pull that up right here before I end the live stream. I'm happy with how we're growing at a slower pace. Some people blow up really quick and it works for them. I will be real honest with you. I felt overwhelmed even when it hit 1,000, and it started because I'm someone who feels very responsible for things. And it's why when I started memberships, I stopped it because I wasn't able to fulfill the memberships. That's another thing I'll tell you about as soon as I'm done here. I'm going to pull up my analytics. I'm going to overview the last 365 days. Well, let's go from the lifetime. And I'm going to see live count. All right, let's see. Woo! Okay, I'm happy now. All right, let me get back on StreamYard. All right, I'm going to share the screen. Is it window or is it Chrome? Here it is. All right. So, this is over 28 days. I wanted over lifetime. Well, let's go 365 days. It's been a very steady growth. 1,000 is back here, and then we've had steady growth, a couple little tiny spurts, but steadily growing. We did kind of plateau from November of 22 to about December of 23. It stayed around from October of 22, 1433 to December. All right. And then we started going up, dip a little bit. And now 1454 is what we're at today. So I'm happy with that kind of growth. I thought the reason that we ran, literally ran to Quartzsite was in order to do the Bob Wells thing. And I'll tell you what, it didn't happen. As you all know, 2 times I missed the appointment. How does somebody miss it twice? Only God knows. I've just left it in God's hands because I have no clue how that happened. And you didn't see it, and I should have taped it, but I boo-hoo sobbed my eyes out the second time. Really. It was a horrible experience. However, it happened that way for a reason, because we were truly trying to get there. We just were in the wrong spot. I'd looked at the wrong link that she dropped. And I wasn't meant to be there. I wasn't meant to meet him. And that's all right. That's okay. Kaylee, it's like I said, it wasn't meant to be, or it would have happened. Hopefully what we have when we come back is something better. And I will meet Bob. I will meet Bob. I adore him. He's one of the people. I wouldn't be doing anything here. It would have never crossed my mind to do this had I not watched him, and as life evolved, becoming someone who wanted to do RV life. Now, I'm going to do a video about this, but I will just nutshell it for you. I was really simplistically looking at it. I thought we were just going to buy an RV, we were going to get in it, and that was going to be it. We were going to be gone. It was my intent. It's kind of like that childlikeness that sometimes I have about a particular thing. I just want it to be so bad. But there is elements to it that I hadn't thought through because I'd never lived it before. I got to live it for 2 months. I know there's things that I need to change or do differently. One of them is the living space needs to be a different way than what we have in Betty Jean. I love Betty Jean. We'll still use Betty Jean till we have the means to do something different, but I need a vehicle to be able to sightsee in, to travel around, and your RV really isn't meant for that. I remember Roy or Becky, I think it was Roy said, or Becky might have, one of y'all, they have, so somebody said something about, Roy said it. Every time we looked up and you guys would be gone or you guys would be leaving, we'd be heading off out of the circle there because we're going to do something. So our stuff didn't get fully charged and blah, blah, blah. It was just a constant battle. And so the other thing is that our solar will be completely attached, however that looks like. Not meant to be a daily driver, sweetheart. And I know it now. And that living environment. So if I'm going to live in an RV longer than for a few months, because Richard and I did not kill each other in that little RV. We didn't. And our son was like banking on it. I know he was thinking, I'm going to get a call from the police. Your mom killed your dad or something like that. We got along great. Excellently. And most of the time. But I really would like more of a living section, not just a dinette. And the best way to get what I want is in a bumper pole or one of those other things. I always forget their name. I could only share small space with my cats. Well, yeah, it's a little challenging, but we worked it out well. And so anyways, I'm going to be doing I've got a schedule in my mind. And we know sometimes I know first of all, I can't get my back fixed anytime soon. I know I've told y'all about that. It will be, although I am losing steadily. I'm losing weight steadily. Since Christmas, I've lost a solid 10 pounds. So it's going down every day. I see a pound, and then it might be 2 days, and then I see 3 pounds, or I see 2 pounds. And so it's coming off gradually. I only have, in essence, 30 pounds to lose before they could do my back surgery. But it's the doctor said it's a monster back surgery. Monster. He has to go in through my side, my right side. He has to be able to touch his hands to my spine. He's got to remove 3 discs. He's got to replace those 3 discs with expandable cage. That's how it is. And do some other work in there. So, there's some work to do. I'm expecting, it would be likely maybe next winter. And then that doesn't count having this shoulder replaced because, I need a full shoulder replacement. And then I will be the $1,100,000 woman by the time that's done. Surgery. And, this doctor specifically asked me not to go to any other doctors. He said, you would find somebody to do the surgery on you. And he says, and likely it would kill you. He said, if I do the surgery right now, if he were to schedule that surgery, when he saw me, he said, I would likely kill you. At the very least, you'd be in a nursing home the rest of your life. I believe him. And I'm not going to see anybody else. All right. So the reason I'm talking about that is I feel even though I have the pain doesn't, I need to have my mind occupied. Y'all occupy my mind. I promise. Y'all occupy my mind. And I'm going to work more diligently at least one video a week. And I don't mean shorts. I mean video. A video could be 5 minutes long, 3 minutes long. Hopefully there's nothing 20 minutes long. And since we're going into spring and we have a rototiller, we're putting in some vegetables. That will be video. That will be stuff for videos. There's so many things. And I'm making a list. I'm in the process of a list of different things, different categories, checking out parks within 30 miles of me. All the parks. Let's go. Let's go on a drive today. And I think that I would call that Let's Drive Today, and then the name of the park. And so I think I'm going to reinstitute, and I'll do a video about this if I do, channel memberships. And I'm only going to have two levels. One is the very basic level, and it will be all kinds of things, actually, more than what you ever get for the very basic level. The second level will be the one I'd always wanted, and that is more of a partnership. It's like once a month meeting via either live stream in one way or another, whoever is part of that group of people, whether it's me and one other person, it doesn't matter. But to help, feedback on the channel. What things do you think might be useful? What isn't working? What could be tweaked? And here's something completely out of the box. Lucretia, what do you think about this? That again, I really want to do that try that one more time. It always has held value for me for some odd reason. So that's going to be coming again soon. And I realize I will need to be doing live streams on a regular basis again. And I'm fine with that. I'm going to do a once a week. It's either once a week or once a month. I'm not sure how often, but I would like to do go through our Bill of Rights. What's our first right? What's our second right? What's the First Amendment, Second Amendment, and talk about one amendment at a time. One amendment at a time. And ideally have someone to talk to about that, or people with opposing opinions on that. And again, I would do it just like I tried today, and it didn't work, which would be ideally a video, an upload, and then a live stream about it. I'll figure it out. But I really want to do that because I know people close to me who do not know what their Bill of Rights are, and they don't know what the Constitution's So what my understanding is, and I know this is off of this topic basically, but I've kind of closed that out, and I'm encouraging everybody to go watch those. There's 2 videos specifically. You will see them right off the bat. But our Constitution, I know people that don't understand the Constitution. And granted, there's scholars who don't. That's why you've got what they call liberal justice and a conservative justice. But they each have valid commentaries on it. But just talking about it, because, greater minds than mine have made decisions about it. And maybe even talking about some of those decisions and how those decisions were arrived upon. So that's just something I have in my mind to do. And I'm interested in it because I've talked to too many people who didn't know they had a particular right or thought they had a particular right that is not part of our Constitution. The Constitution is about the commitment the government has to me. That's what my understanding is. And the Bill of Rights are our protection from the tyranny of a potentially tyrannical government. We get to have protections from the government, and the government has some responsibilities to us. That's how I was taught in constitutional law to kind of look at it. The Constitution is about the commitments my government has made to me, and the Bill of Rights is my protection from them. Because those are all federal laws. So, anyways. All right. Thank you for coming. Glad you were here. Really, truly glad you're here. Sorry I've missed you this week. It has been an insane week. You don't want to hear about it. Trust me. It's just been too crazy. Yeah, I know, Kaylee. It's very scary. It's very scary. However, maybe get a signal booster for ride-along live streams. Yeah, that would be an idea. That is a great idea, actually, Kaylee. It's all about interpretation. Some interpretation is useful and progressive. Some is abusive. Absolutely. And what's really interesting? You've heard my son-in-law, Josh. We banter back and forth. I know I've said on here, I'm considered a conservative. I'm a moderate conservative. Okay. I believe socially, we all deserve health care. We deserve to have the right of protecting ourselves, our own bodies, everything has some limitations. Can I protect myself to the point if someone just walks up to me and says, I hate you, that I can pull out my gun and shoot them? Hell no. That is not, I have no right to that. So yes. The reason I'm even affiliated with any party, and I'm almost ready to stop being affiliated with any party in Oregon, but in Oregon, in order to vote in the primary, you have to have an affiliation as a Republican or a Democrat, one or the other. You cannot vote in the primary as unaffiliated or third party. And that's just how it is. And and so anyways, I'm kind of off on a rabbit trail, I know. But I'm kind of excited about the potential of the having bringing more to the channel. Once again, bringing more to the channel and finding out what works. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end here, and I would love it. Can't tell you how much I would love it if y'all would go and you would watch the video I made. This is what it looks like. I'm going to share the screen with you. Let's see, where is it? There it is. It's this one right here. Cyberbullying. Right here. I'm real confused about what happened, but you know, it happens. Things happen. And give me feedback on it. Please give me feedback on it. So I don't know who the 5 people are that's here, but I thank you for hanging out. Let's hear Kaylee's comments. Yep. There's actually good reason. So you're a person I would love to have a chat with, and I know you would need to use your icon, and that's great. You're one smart cookie, Kaylee. You have some great experience in life that could be very useful to other people, and I think to you as well. As you know, I've always thought you were very talented and that ideally you'd be making videos. You know, there's people who do videos and you never see their face. Yes. Yes. Thanks so much, Lace. Yes, and thank you guys. And again, go back and watch it. If you would please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your own experience has been. If you know somebody else, and pass it on. And if you're so inclined, please do a video about cyberbullying, cyber stalking, all of the cyber crap that is put out there and affects another human being's life. Because in the end, at the end of the day, creators are still human beings. I'm still a human being. And Jesse and Alyssa are still human beings, and their lives were drastically and grievously affected in a way that I don't know that I'd have the guts to come back. But they're trying, I think you'll figure it out. They're trying to overcome it by building a coalition of people that understand this nightmare and are willing to help circle the wagons and maybe bring an end to it by forcing the owners of Google and other platforms to have to start addressing it, because nobody should get away with this crap. Nobody. All right, you guys. So you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Keep your ears and your eyes open to what's going on in the world around you right now. Lots of stuff happening. And trust me, you will see me sooner than later. All right. Thank you so much.